some time to to understand it properly. But yeah, when it's clicked, it was nice, you know. You're now having the conversations with Pang or even guys over there, like it's nice. I just need to realize where we are in the range. Okay. There's 9:30. Okay, so market open basically just super rebalance it, pushing lower. How far we can go? We do have liquidity right here, so now we can go even a little lower. Okay. $9.43. So basically here is our CISD thing. Internal sub CISD. Also, we are closing all this bigger structure right there. 944 retested it, and now 945 is opening. To be honest, me personally, I would take this, but I would put my stop loss like really tightly. In which case, 945 can be volatile because it's like the opening of new 15-minute candle. That means that we can basically go and we can rebalance the wick of this candle. In this 1 minute, it's basically those three, you know.
It's also kind of risky because that's going to be first fair value gap, and we
It
can just
is.
weak it and go.
It is. Also, I believe we are in premium right now. So in terms of like basic premium discounting, it doesn't make really sense. It really doesn't make sense to take it. So now 945 is opening. Do we have double mark or not? No, we don't. Okay. But now, if this is like the manipulation that happened right now, what needs to hold? Well, 50% of the range needs to hold, or the last possible defense is this CISD level right here. But if you are like really bullish, this should hold. Also, just okay right here. Turn on soups. We are okay. So now, since this range should be rebalanced, we are closing within this candle range. Draw should be higher.
Also, Pitbull, if I can say something, if you switch on like 5 minutes, it looks like it just created a BPR.
5 minutes.
It's yeah, it still it takes the body of those two large down closed candles. So I thought 5 minute would be within this
Yeah.
last swing high. Yeah, it looked like it, but oh well.
Okay. Well, and in terms of targets, like if this range is now rebalanced, where is the clean draw? Like it's those highs. Then also, if we end up pushing higher, like these highs looks pretty juicy. I don't know if there is any SMT right here, because if there is an SMT, like the easy target becomes this high of 751. This is our draw if we are going higher. What we can do right here, we can add partial, save. Do something like this. Internal sub at the lows, now we should push. Also after that candle, technically I could put my stop to that low, because we should not come back to it. And technically I can do it right now, just to de-risk myself a little bit. Now the problem is, we do have liquidity right here at this high, and it's also within those previous lows, meaning we can reach this liquidity point to then rebalance the range right here. But then also we need to see like the 50% and everything hold as well. Okay. Okay, so now if it is the start of the rebalance, well, this candle, the 956 closed above the 954, meaning we are closing still higher, meaning if we want to go lower for this low, for example, this candle high needs to be remanipulated at least one more time. Meaning if this is start of so-called rebalance, what needs to hold? Well, 50% of the range. And if we want to be more, even more like precise, no, it's the same range, okay. Even this, yeah, okay. So now we are touching the previous highs right here, so this could be your BPR, if I'm correct. At least I think so. Also, this is a breaker, which is nice. We just tapped that, okay. Internal soup. We are still holding that EQ. I kind of like how slow we are, you know, just going lower and lower. Okay, we are tapping that order block. We are tapping at 9:45. What time is it? 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is opening lower. Okay, if you're not in any trade, or if you're in a trade and you just want to add more contracts, you know, you can just add it here with your stop loss going either at this low, which if I'm correct we should not come back to it, or more safe places than this 952 order block low. Okay, which means that we are in two cons. The easy draw for us is those highs right here, meaning we can take it off right there, full position. Also this smaller one, you can just take the break even. So again, the same logic. If this is just the rebalance of this range, what is the easy draw? Well, the wick of the 956 range, and then also with this move higher, just more liquidity was created, meaning now we can target the range high of 751. There we go. And so now, keep it simple, stupid, you know, what just happened? Well, we just took liquidity. Meaning, do I want to be looking for any shorts right now or for longs? Well, I prefer shorts. Why? Because again, we just took liquidity. So now I won't be looking for any long setups. I will just wait for something to rebalance the range or just do a full reversal. Internal sub at the highs. Good start. So now we are taking sort of the liquidity. So now again, if you are bearish and if you want to start some sort of rebalance, we just took liquidity in the lows. So now I can expect rebalance of the bearish range right here. What needs to hold? Well, 50% needs to hold. We are going even lower. I'll just reduce this. We are tapping at 50%. So now, if then scenarios, if This is our manipulation, soup, fair swing. This candle is closing below this order block. We can enter 2, put our stop right here. And now in terms of TPs, well, the easy low hanging fruit target is at 10-15 low. Why? Because I'm using the same logic. If this is the rebalance of the bearish move, what is the target for, for the bears? This low is target. Looking at the left, what is the next TP? Well, the next possible TP is 947 low. What then? Well, then we do have the CISD, which still can hold some sort of strength for longs. And then in terms of TP, the last TP is 942 low. And then we can possibly be looking, on the left, like what is here and etc. But still, until this low gets taken, I cannot do ever right now do manipulation, so I just need to wait for price to tell me which direction we want to go. So again, in terms of TPs, we can also add, I just move this, click here at partial, we can have 2 right now. Since in terms of, risk-reward ratio doesn't make much sense to have my TP right here, I'll just move it here and we'll just wait how we'll react after we'll take this low. And then we can put it here because I'm not sure if we are going to take it low or not. There's a problem. That's a problem if you have like 2 manipulations. You just need to wait for one of them to get, until it gets taken, because before that you don't have much to operate with. Even like the 15-minute time frame, we soup the low, we soup the high, we are inside the range now. So yeah. Okay, so we are closing below it. So now I would like to see sort of displacement lower. Okay, that's the one. That's the second. Internal soup at that 940 CISD. Internal soup right here. Okay, so this could be potential fair signal for the longs again. Internal soup right here, CISD. I will not be jumping a gun here because we are at 50% or nearly the 50% of the range for the bearish, and also we are near those lows of 1016, so I'll wait for something else. Yeah, now we do have some sort of reaction from those previous lows, but if we would be able to close above the 1032 candle, then I will assume that we still want to go higher. Yeah, right here. What time is it? 9:30. So it would also like fit into that criteria of time. In terms of TPs, I'm not a huge fan of us having like this devil's mark right here and also this big ass gap. Meaning I may go for rather bigger stop loss right here. I mean, in terms of like the price and everything, like this should hold right now. But also what can happen, we can just have wick, inside of the gap to then expand higher. Meaning it's up to you.
And this happens more times than not.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you can withstand it with 2 cones, like that's good. If not, like you will just decrease your size, and possibly add once things get more clear.
Yeah.
And
Let's say if I was taking this initial order block continuation trade, I would be putting my stop loss like several ticks within this fair value gap, because I don't want it to go, past like 50% of its range. But even like I would expect it to take us out, to just get into it and reverse right away. If it doesn't, I would be more bearish than not.
I mean, in terms of TPs, like this should hold right here, the 50% of this thing. 50% of this thing should hold, so I can kind of put my stop loss right here, and I should be pretty safe. But again, you can have that huge big ass wick. And in terms of TPs, low hanging fruit in this scenario, if you are going lower or higher, is this high? get partial, be safe, and then I want to see if we would be able to get the runner to this high, which I'm not too sure. Because again, like I do have manipulation at low, and I do have manipulation at highs, so it is what it is. Okay, so that's the first TP. We can kind of move our stop loss to break even now. No, let's look. Let's say. So even now, you know, I kind of like this. Not entering right here, but once we were passing throughout that order block, you know, you could enter there, put your stop loss to this low, and then you could expect like the easy push higher to the drawer liquidity, which is right now. And now again, like the same story, you know, like we just took liquidity with pretty much straight up push, you know. So again, I'm not necessarily want to be looking at the longs right now, but I rather want to be looking at the shorts. Jeez, what 50-minute candle? That's huge. Turn the soup. The 945 candle is opening higher. We are also retesting the previous highs on the left. So this is our BPR, I believe. Well, in those moments, the punk would be a great addition. But even now, if we are kind of slowing down, the 945 is opening higher. We do have CISD right here. We can sell right there, put our stop at the high. In terms of TPs, I'll also gonna reduce this one. Just about here. Well, the EQ is around here. Yes, this is my EQ, so this will be my low-hanging fruit. And then we do have this order block right here.
Why are you putting the top at this high?
The 930, sorry, 1030 candle in terms of 15-minute range. Because this is the 15-minute candle low, this is the 15-minute candle high. So now in terms of not GRT, CRT range, this is possible candle wick of the 15-minute candle. You see, because if I'm correct, like if we are entering inside the wick of the 15-minute candle to then bring us lower to rebalance the bullish range.
No, I get it. That's from CRT standpoint that we need to rebalance the expansion wick for us to continue higher.
Yeah, and also, you know, we are kind of slowing down right here. We took liquidity on the left. We are retesting the previous highs. And we also have soup
And
CISD.
it's also by all means it's a turtle soup engulfing candle, so it's a significant move
that's
lower.
another thing. And also in terms of times, 945 opens, we are just pushing higher, higher, higher. You know, so
It was almost straight up.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like this thing from 1030, we just ran without any sort of bigger retracement. You know, so it makes sense. Also in terms of again 3 TPs. I mean the easy partial is that EQ. That's the easy one. Here is the gap, so I'll put it inside the gap right here. And then the second one, it depends how we react inside this order block. Because then the same thing can happen, what happened right here. We'll just tap, for example, that order block or that CISD to then bring us higher again. Because in terms of 15-minute time frame, we had soup CISD higher, so now I'm looking at this move as a rebalance and not the move that will bring us to these lows, basically, you know. Because also 15-minute time frame is just escaping from the range. So if anything, like this move is just only retracement until we close below this candle. So now in terms of retracement, again, that 50% of the range, like even if you put the whole range, I don't care. You know, it's pretty much in the same spot. Again, put it right here. And so then, you know, like if we are really bullish, this area should hold. So now 50%, internal soup. If we will be able to close below this 1101 candle, that's kind of the same thing that happened right here. Yeah, right this. But again, it doesn't make sense for me to enter right here, put the shorts in the discount of the range. Mainly when my TP is, you know, somewhere in this region. I mean, not sure. I mean, I will take it. But what I can do right now is I will just put my stop loss to here because I don't want to see us coming back to it. So now we're tapping at the EQ of that OB. Internal soup right there. Soup. Devil's mark. Devil's mark's out. 11 AM's opening lower. If you get strong closure over this accumulation, I might take a long in here. Internal soup. And so now in terms of TPs, with low hanging fruit is this high. And then again, the same logic. If this move is just a rebalance of the bullish range, the easy target is this high, or it should be that high. And then also, like, if this is just rebalance and we are pushing higher, where is the most recent liquidity, or where is the nearest liquidity? Those highs on the left. I mean, we could even extend it, but I'll just leave it with the realistic, you know, targets. Okay, so we are out. 11:40, 11:15 open the high. We are souping the low again. Okay, I may give it another shot. Yeah, I'll give it another shot. Did we reject to the tick? That EQ? No, there's a difference. Okay. So 7 is before. Right here. If you get strong candle throughout there, like you can possibly add. Yeah, that's one. Sorry, but I was just thinking, you know, about the ranges. Like, if even if I'm wrong, like we should at least reach this high to take the liquidity, then push us back lower. But from the higher time frame standpoint, like I think that we are going higher. I think the draw is still higher.
At least this fractal looks like a potential AMD as well.
I mean, accumulation, manipulation, distribution lower.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean, it could be if we get closure below, like that's possible. The 930 candle opening high, rebalance at 945. I mean, the closure of that 1136 candle would tell you like if we're going higher or not. Like for now, we are just souping the high of it, which is not the best thing. Yeah, this is the first TP. So now I can kind of reduce my risk to this low. I will use this one. Kind of slowly going lower, which is nice. Closer where this candle should be. Kind of telling. And we are out. Okay. So now 12. Okay, internal soup, kind of pushing higher. So now CID would be pretty helpful. If we have any, in here, it would be nice. So now again, who is winning? I mean, kind of shorts are winning until lunch. Now we're pushing higher. So manipulation, soup, fair swing, pushing higher. I won't take this. Why? Because again, we are at 50%. That's not nice push. Delivery. Eight. So now the draw should be that high of 1045. Or pick a high draw for the high time frame. Internal soup, and there it is. Well, pretty good day. So now we're currently liquidated the highs. If we go from the range high to the range low, we just have 50%. I always hate these moves. 3 candles going higher, like that's kind of sus to me. Always. Because usually I'll be looking for shorts, which also makes sense because we are in premium of the range. But also what usually happens, we'll just close above it and just run. Just will have huge FU candle. Internal super highs. Oh, we did not take any. Yeah. Okay, so this was the rebalance of the previous range right here. Yeah. By the way, how went? I didn't even saw you joined. It looks like they're just accumulating right now. Sweeping the low of the range. So now if we are still bullish, we just taking the internal liquidity right here. If you're really bearish, I need to see closure below this candle. Why? Because we are still inside this candle range on the 15 minute. Oh jeez. So now this again might be just internal soup, retest to the order block, to then the next 15-minute candle just distribute higher. Internal soup. And pretty economy is like this low. But there's only this order block, which it's not my favorite type of entry, but yeah, it should do it. Oh no. Yeah, and it's the why we are not pushing the gun. So now again, internal soups. And now we are kind of closing our order book in here. 220. And so then if this is just the rebalance of the move, the easy target should be those highs on the left. Yeah, there we go. So you have these examples that even me, sometimes I'll jump the gun and I will pay for it. So yeah.
But can you go back to actually like explain a little bit more of the ranges that you wanted? Because this is like more or less your standard backtesting session, but
Yeah.
why did we maybe we didn't take the low, maybe there was an SMT with ES or something, but what's the purpose of us going that deep, not taking the low with the exception of an SMT to just run it all the way back? I mean, it makes sense to me, the first of your explanations of 50% of 15-minute candle for us to
Yeah.
retrace, but we almost take the low of it. And so,
You mean this low?
no, even earlier, our kind of
Which
deep
one? This
failure
one?
swing. Yeah, this one, yeah.
Yeah, and that's again kind of the sort of conversation we had with Punk a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
You know, that's.
Exactly. I wonder if there is an SMT with ES, at least that might explain
I mean,
that
I'm
we
not
haven't
sure
taken
if
this
I
low being that deep.
can go there. Yeah, there is one.
There is one. Okay. Well, at least this one explains it. The one fractal with gun
Yeah, we've been
or with
over.
punk
Yeah, that wasn't
neither
any.
did it.
And I think there wasn't any SMT even with YM. Like there was none of it. But at least
Yeah,
here,
still
there's something.
even with an SMT NQ being this deep, I mean, I'm very hesitant on taking those setups.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If there's not screaming at you, you just don't take it.
The problem is those are usually the ones all of us should be looking for.
I mean, this thing is even clear on ES. Push it lower. Yeah. But even here, like it's more telling on NQ than on ES. Like the structure of it, formation of the candles. Because on ES, it just looks like okay, we just escaped the range and we are accumulating outside of the range, which is more or less like the bullish thing. But on the NQ, this thing looks bearish. And then mainly with this candle of 1050, that short that we took. I mean, I saw a lot of guys have problem with not understanding when we can target the external and where we can target just the internal lows. Like that they don't know where to switch or what to draw for them. Because even me, like I know my higher time frame draw is higher, but doesn't mean that I won't take a short. I just need to know where I can put my take profit. Because again, if I'm bullish or if we are still bullish, we are not going for the range lows right here, for external range lows. We'll just go for some sort of internal. For example, right here, we just went for the internal to then reverse it and go for the external. So yeah, and it's also kind of the reason why I want to make those or that ranges video, you know. But again, I do have like 7 or 8 hours of videos in front of me that I need to kind of make notes about, and I need to put it all together so I won't confuse guys even more, you know.
Well, you're more than welcome to backtest it on me. I'm dumb enough to say if I understand that,
Yeah.
most of the guys will do as well.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, anyways, I'm still kind of confused about, which time frame to pick to place the ranges at, because it looks like you're playing more with internal ranges compared to like overall unbalanced ones.
I mean, within the internal ranges, you have also unbalanced ranges, you know. So I mean, sure, you can argue even here, like push lower, push higher, like this should be rebalanced. So what do you need to see? You know, you need to see those highs held because like this should be rebalance range. So now even if you have some sort of rebalance, you want to see these highs to hold. Because then if we go lower, let's say to the rebalance, this full range, we will go to EQ right here. Then I can kind of see us pushing higher to rebalance the bearish range to push us back lower. So in that's kind of thing, you know, understanding which range is balanced, which one is not.
Yeah, that's pretty much what gets me confused, because I usually like I usually put my ranges on the whole unbalanced part of the range,
Yep.
expecting us to retrace at least to 50% of it at some point, even like when, some immediate targets are met.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like your approach is, if it got above, it should stay above. And while we're staying above, it's valid for this side of the market maker model.
Yeah. I mean, even if you like implement the if you implement time to it, you know, it also helps. Like for example, that narrative that I was able to build around that 10:45, I believe. What's that? Yeah, 10:45 candle opening. You know, like without the time, it would be much harder for me to kind of create that sort of narrative. But with time in the play, you know, it's much easier.
Yeah, well, technically on 15 minutes, we were staying bullish after that market open dump.
Yeah, and I mean, even after this dump, like I was telling you, like we are still bullish, but this is just the rebalance that needs to happen. So then I won't be aiming for this low. I will be just aiming for EQ, possibly this is the order block, maybe the CISD, you know, which ultimately it held right here. I didn't even notice. It held perfectly.
It did,
And so then
but
again, you know,
I would say it's too deep of a failure swing for my comfort, for
sure,
me to still looking at bullish price action as a valid one
yeah, I mean, sure,
after
and
such a move.
yeah, I mean, you know, after that, like you won't take it. That's good. I mean, even this look good for me, but this candle also it's a little too big for my liking, and we are also in an equal to previous range. We are also referring to the previous lows, so I just stayed out, you know, and it was like the best like displacement or distribution you can have, just straight to the row. But do I care? Like not really.
Yeah, well, in this case, my specific problem is those reversals versus retracements, because
Yeah.
on this large candle, I would definitely be looking, that my thesis might not be correct.
Hmm.
On that large one, that would make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But overall, we closed below, so I would still I would still might consider that to be a retracement instead of a full scale reversal, especially being that close to the lows.
Hmm.
So yeah, exactly same fractal, and probably I just need to change my mindset of how I perceive them, you know. But still, it's a kind of double-edged sword.
For sure.
If I view all of those as potential reversals, I would easily come back to, you know, not being able to stay in a trade for long periods of time just because I would see every single move like that as a potential reversal on me and jumping the gun out.
Yeah, I mean, even if you are wrong, that like for example right here, it's not like a reversal, but it's just a rebalance. The 50% of the previous range would get hit like 80% of the time. That's the reason I always telling you guys like EQ is always the DP, because even if you are wrong in your overall narrative, we will rebalance the range. Then is the question how or what range we are playing within, you know.
Exactly, because if that was a rebalance of one of the internal ranges, so how I view it, if we've taken the major liquidity point, like major swing high or low, most likely we'll rebalance this whole move up or down
Yeah,
respectively.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if we didn't close of it, that's where the internal range, more times than not, plays out. So that's the way, at least how I view it at this point, and that's what kind of makes me confused.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you're definitely correct. Like this is like the best retracement, but still, if you are not closing below the 10 15 below the manipulation of 15 minutes, we are still bullish. Soup, rebalance, could take a sweep, confirmation, rebalance, push higher. This range, take this candle range. Oh, it's wrong too. Ah, okay, yeah, okay, that's fractal. Okay. Also, it's important to realize where is the new 15-minute candle opening into. You know, like that 11:45, it opened into the order block on the left that push us higher. Then we created a CISD right here, you know, and you have multiple opportunities to jump into the trade. Either candle closure, which not the best thing because we are at EQ, rebalance, rebalance in here, confirmation candle, another confirmation candle, displacement higher. Yeah.